January 12th, 8:35 a.m., Friday. I was listening to one of these videos on Bundy again, as I usually do, and something struck me. They were talking about the highways. No, actually, I was looking at Cervantes and Pensacola, and I think I might have been listening to Unsolved, this guy, Kenneth Main or something. I don't remember. But anyway, I said, well, let me leave this. I got to look up something. So, again, I'm looking at the from Pensacola to Los Angeles, like one day, 14 hours, so about 2 days. But anyway, because that's where he was headed, obviously. He was on I 10. And for some reason, they say he was behind Oscar Warner's pancake shop, which is interesting for the next thing I said. Well, then I said, for some reason, my mind wandered how he said he wanted to be Dale Evans' child. And I got to thinking about it. So I looked up Dan Evans, the governor of Washington. And he was a conservationist. They show him with a bicycle. I can't remember the article. They show him on a 10-speed bike. And he was born in 1925. So he says in the article, he says, no, Bundy never watched my boys. He never babysitted for me. He did not lead. Remember how Bundy goes on and on about he was the first one to cross the Cascades on the new highway that Dan Evans said wanted that highway? It was somewhat controversial because they had to cut into the timberline and stuff in the Cascade Mountains. But anyway, they made the highway. I think it was 20 or something. I don't know. But anyway, he said that no, Richard Nixon didn't come, not Dan Evans, Bundy. He said Richard Nixon, but it was his brother, and he led the motorcade of 1,500 people, and he got laid in Walla Walla, and on he went. But Dan Evans said no, he was not a government employee. He was a person that worked under his PAC or his election committee, and he was going to go there, yes. He could not drive a state-owned vehicle because he was not a member of the state at that time. He was back in the PAC, and when he got there, he was going to hand out buttons and pamphlets. That was his mission, hand out button and pamphlets. He was not in the lead vehicles. He was not driving a state-run vehicle. He was in the back of the PAC, probably a passenger. But he makes this whole story about he led. So I'm going to highways. Bundy was, also Dan Evans might have been Dale Evans for him. But I think Bundy realized that if he ran for political office and all the tabloids and all, they've always been out there talking about the different things about the Kennedys, he may have realized his illegitimacy would be a hindrance to certain office. But if he started out low and just said, this is my dad, my stepdad, whatever, people aren't going to go that far with it. If you start out as mayor or something, or city councilman and mayor and representative, they're not going to dig because, you wouldn't be that high in office for them to be digging. And even if they did, you say, my mom remarried and that's my stepdad. How much are they going to dig? But I guess if he went up to higher office, they might dig some. I can't think of the guy's name that's a Mormon. His history is quite unusual if you go far enough back. Anyway, I don't think nowadays it would be a hindrance, but I think he always thought it was going to be a hindrance. But anyway, so he did not lead the Cascade over the mountains. So this is how easily he lied. And I think Dale Evans meant Dan Evans. If you look at Dan Evans' life and the things he did, the bicycle, the hiking, the Boy Scouts, the Navy, it's like, I wish he had been my dad. He was born in 1925, so he could have been Bundy's father. I mean, his age he's not his father. But what I'm saying is, he may have wanted to pretend in his mind, which leads me to another thing that Osknow, the psychiatrist, said that he was not just bipolar, that he may have had one of these personality, like, what was the name of that book? The Many Faces of, I can't think of it. You know what I'm talking about. Back in the day, it talked about all these different personalities that come over people. And she'd sound like a man sometimes and sound like a child. What was the name of that? But anyway, have different personalities, which obviously he did have a lot of different personalities. Okay, that's my topic for today. Thank you. I've got a doctor's appointment and I've got to go to the gym. Thank you. Bye-bye.